Welcome to VHS Showdown!
He can't do the whole
The Halloween special!
You sound like fucking Arnie.
I'm a vampire. I was clearly a fucking vampire then.
I liked it.
Yes, so this is the Halloween special of VHS Showdown.
Did you get the willies, Alan?
I did. I've seen so many ghoulies today. It's crazy.
Grabbed by the ghoulies. Yeah. After all those high spirits at the beginning, we are now getting ready for our first ever Halloween special. So it was Lee's turn this time to pick a 80s Halloween movie. And which 80s Halloween movie did you pick?
I went for Friday the 13th, Part 6.
Arguably a Friday the 13th movie rather than a October the 31st movie.
Controversial, but I think it's fair game. I think it goes down on both sides.
I think from the man who picked vice versa.
Yeah,
Well, I agree with you. That would make a very good Halloween film.
Better than with a Christmas film. It's got a skull in it.
It's got everything.
Apart from any Christmas references.
It's a film for all seasons.
Well, this is a horror film.
It is,
And
yes.
it is Halloween.
So why did you pick this one for your Halloween?
Well, as I've said before, I always used to like going to sit in Acorn 2 and look at the horror videos. It's what sort of fascinated me with horror. All the Jason films were always quite interesting for me.
I think the Freddy ones were better.
Oh, fuck off.
What? Judean people's front.
No covers.
No.
Yeah, man, they were usually like
I don't
those
think-
drawn
I don't
covers.
think
The
that-
poster for Nightmare on Elm Street 1, is it? Where he's like coming out.
The movie posters were just better in the 80s, weren't they?
Yeah,
They were just
yeah.
always more interesting.
They were often better than the film. Gross exaggeration of what was going to happen.
I think the Army of Darkness one's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
a drawing, I think, isn't it? It's
a
like
lot
the
of
way
that
that
back then,
they
wasn't it? You can't find a drawn cover for shit.
Yeah.
No, they should bring them back.
Yeah.
I was drawn to the video covers, always fascinated me, and I remember I came home one night, quite late, when I was 11 or 12 or something, and everyone had gone to bed, and I put the TV on, and this was on, and it just started, and I was like, I've always wanted to see this, and I watched the first 3 kills, and I was like, fuck watching this on my own. I put the video on and recorded it, because I wasn't going to watch it in the dark on my own, and I watched it the next day, and I loved it.
I love it.
And ever since then, I've been a massive fan of Jason and the Friday the 13th series. So this is the first one that I watched, and this is why I chose it.
Yeah. What were you, Al?
I don't actually think I've seen this one before. I love like horror films, but I never really got into the Friday the 13th ones. But I loved Freddy.
Yeah. What were you, Todd?
The first time I ever saw it, I was in the house on my own and I'd fallen asleep on the sofa and the TV was on, but I woke up at the exact moment the screen went black and then Jason appeared and just slit the screen open. He comes on and I turned over and I was like, oh! But I didn't realise that was the beginning, and so I watched it all the way through and I loved it.
I love it.
I think I might have just met you. That was when, me and Lee never used to get on when we first met. And
Still don't.
yeah.
Yeah, but we're more grown up about it these days. Like, you fucking had these Friday the 13th videos, and then I think the next one you showed me was
8.
So I didn't watch them all in order, and I don't even know if I've watched them all, but that is my intro to it, is that I woke up, watched it, and, loved it.
I think as a kid, the first Friday the 13th film I saw was Jason Hits Manhattan. Where
Jason takes Manhattan.
Takes Manhattan.
He says fucking hit Manhattan.
Like he's on a weekend fucking like
He hits Manhattan.
So Jason Takes Manhattan, which is arguably one of the most farcical ones, I think.
It's got the most farcical deaths.
It's
Yeah.
pretty fast.
Is that the one with the punch?
Yeah.
It's worse than this one, man. It's quite low production quality now.
It is.
So that was like the first one. So I think I was always more of a Jason over Freddy person. I think because Freddy scared me more. Freddy's actually terrifying, whereas Jason is like, he's not really that scary, is he? But he's cool. Do you know what I mean? He looks cool.
He's rock.
But he's not really like scary. I think Michael Myers is actually scarier than Jason.
I fucking hate Halloween.
Yeah, I don't want the first one.
Shouldn't be here tonight then.
I know.
So saw that one, and then I think when I first met you, Lee, you lent me all of them, and I watched all of them. So I would have been like late teens, early 20s when I saw all of the franchise.
The series has got a very loose continuity, but the first 4 are kind of like a quadrilogy. The first film, his mum is killing people because he drowned when he was little, and she's avenging his death by killing the camp counsellors, and she gets decapitated. Then in the second one, no one's really sure what happened, but he's either been living in the woods and never died, or he's come back to life. It's very loose.
Yeah,
so the second one, he's a fully grown man who's living in the woods, and he's got long ginger hair. He goes around avenging his mum, killing a load of people.
Is that when he's got the pillow on his head?
He's got a pillow on his head.
Yeah, so
because
in the
he's
fir-
deformed.
I'm fucking deformed.
In the first one, it's his mum.
Yeah.
And Jason doesn't appear right until the end when he's a little kid.
Yeah.
In the second one, he's a grown adult.
Yeah, and it's only like a month later.
He's grown to a man in a month.
Because he kills the person that killed his mum, doesn't he?
Okay, what happens in the third?
So the third one, it's the same thing. There's like a load of people there and he's going around killing them.
Crystal Lake.
And this is the one where he gets his
He
hockey
fucking
mask.
hates teenagers.
He does.
Yeah.
He gets the hockey mask in this one, and then he gets killed. That's it. He gets an axe in the head at the end of this one.
His look is amazing, isn't
The
it?
thing is, yeah, each Jason has got a cool look, apart from maybe the second one.
Jason Space.
That one.
I'm not sure.
So the third one ends with Jason with an axe in his head, and then begins with him being put in a stretcher and taken to the fucking mortuary, where he wakes up, kills a fuckload more people. And one of the kids in this one is Corey Feldman, who plays Tommy Jarvis. His mum gets killed, and he ends up pretending to be Jason and kills Jason. For the first time, we're led to believe Jason is actually dead.
Right.
Then the fifth one takes a weird sidestep. It's 10 years later. Tommy Jarvis is in a mental asylum, and at the very beginning of the film, somebody in the mental asylum kills somebody else, but it turns out that that somebody that he killed is the son of the ambulance man, who then pretends to be Jason and kills everyone else.
Jesus Christ.
And it's
I didn't
fuck all-
understand that.
It's somebody copycatting Jason because they saw their son getting killed at this mental home.
And it's a bit shit, that one.
It's directed by somebody who directed Pawns, because the first three are slashery, they're a bit scary, they're hard-edged, and they're seedy, but this is mega seedy, part 5. It's not a good film. Everyone hated the fifth one, and so they were like, right, we're going to do it, we're going to bring Jason back, we're going to sort of take the hard edge off it, we're going to put a bit of humour in it, and a bit more of a budget than we've ever had before, and we're going to relaunch the series.
Who was the director on this one?
Tom McLaughlin.
I don't think he did much else, did he?
He had something to do with the game, did he?
I helped crowdfund that game.
Did
It's
you?
fucking good, yeah.
He just stayed around the horror genre. He co-wrote this one as well, I think.
Sometimes they come back, he did. TV movie horror.
It is that classic sort of horror sequel-y type
Bang a
thing.
load out
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah,
But
but
they were cheap.
Plus, I'm cheap.
But this is the first farcical
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
Friday
yeah.
the 13th, isn't
But
it?
it's nice in this one that they're bringing that supernatural element into
Yes,
it. And I think
it
that's
is. But it's like a Hammer horror film, it feels
Yeah.
a bit like, isn't it?
they keep adding to the mythology of it as
Yes.
well, don't they? Every
Yeah.
sort of like film they'll add one more thing. They're
Well,
always
like the
sort of,
ninth one, he's like body swapping. And
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
When I think of Jason, I think of the Jason from this era and after, the slightly zombified.
Yeah, I think like this and 4 are probably the best ones. I mean, he's fucking good in 4 when he's like a bit more mobile, but he's still like unstoppable.
I don't like him when he goes too zombie because like
Yeah,
when he's like
he's
full
good
on.
when he's getting in 7, when he's like
Yeah,
fucking, he's like a skeleton.
Yeah, it's weird.
I
Yeah.
do think my favourite is Freddy vs. Jason.
It's good that in Freddy vs. Jason, he's fucking massive.
Yeah.
He's like 8 foot tall or something, but he's like too much like Frankenstein in that one.
That is just a fucking fun movie, though.
Freddy vs.
It's-
Jason, I think, is the best of both of those series.
Yeah, it's a very fun film, and I would happily watch that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think he did the
probably
best.
quite underrated, that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fucking good.
All right, so should we get stuck into the storyline then?
Yes, it starts off with Tommy Jarvis, who's been having like nightmares about Jason, as you see in part 5. He's decided that he's going to go and dig Jason up and make sure that he's still dead. So that's how mad he is.
He wants to set fire to him, so he thinks that he's still able to transport himself and haunt him, isn't he? So he's going to fucking burn the corpse, and he wanted to cremate him, he said.
And how that backfired for him.
It does go
in a
badly wrong.
spectacular way.
It could not have gone more wrong.
Yeah.
Instead of just defiling the corpse, he's going to bring him back as a fucking zombie killer.
Yeah, they go and find Jason's grave, and this fucking gravestone, considering it's only been there for like 5 or 6 years, is like really badly degraded, and it only says Jason on it. There's no
Voorhees.
fucking details.
You wouldn't name his grave, would you? You wouldn't give anybody the pleasure of
you
knowing
would
where they
definitely,
were.
yeah. As we later find out, they've changed the name of the area as well, haven't they? Because they want to eradicate Jason
Yeah.
Voorhees from their town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
they give him a singular gravestone with his name.
Make it look spooky as fuck.
Yeah, here lies Bill Phillips.
So anyway, they dig him up. It's this
He looks
fucking-
horrendous as well.
It's quite good. I like that. Hearing the torment in his head.
Yeah.
And then he
Die!
He looks around and there's one of those old rickety iron fences and he manages to shake a bar loose. It's quite good that
Yeah.
he, that he didn't come prepared with that. What I didn't like was who's his mate that he's with?
Horace.
Oh,
Horace.
shit, he is, isn't
Well, his mate Horace turns up at the grave with 2 shovels on his back and he's like, okay, you've seen him, let's go. And then he grabs a shovel. Tommy grabs a shovel. He's like, what are you doing? So what the fuck do you think he's doing? You brought the shovels.
This set is cool as well.
As a Halloween film as well, do you know what I mean? Watching it at Halloween, like we are now.
It might have been
Yeah, I was
Halloween
getting
I
relieved.
saw it. So he grabs this fucking pole, starts stabbing Jason, and going fucking apeshit.
You do it to his head, though, wouldn't you? I would definitely do his head first. I mean, it's always annoying in horror films when they don't do it. It's like, go for
But
the
I mean,
head.
he's not an adversary there. He's just a corpse. He's just trying to defile him, I think, isn't he?
Shit on it.
You know what I'd like to do to you? I'd like to take a crap right on your fucking mask.
I'll fucking defile it.
Skull fucking.
I do have an issue. He was buried in his dungarees, man.
That's all he had, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
He had no
But-
possessions. I mean, it's a boiler suit.
It's a
isn't it?
boiler suit.
They've gone.
He's not a painter.
Well, they've gone through the trouble of burying him. I thought they'd like do him up a little bit or so.
Well, maybe they
Bit
did.
of rouge on his cheeks.
You want him to be wearing lipstick when you shit on him.
A big ol' mango-sized crap.
I want him to die with a massive fucking hard. I'll fucking show him.
Just jumping down into the hole.
Yeah.
Like bombing into a swimming pool.
Jason takes Man Allen.
So anyway, after all those shenanigans, he's stabbing Jason, and then he gets up to go and get his gloves on to set fire to him, and lightning strikes and it hits the pole. And it's cool. Yeah. It's cool.
Frankenstein, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is cool.
It is cool, but
Because it's so fucking obvious.
It's
So
the only
cliche,
way he
so
was going to
shit,
come back,
isn't
wasn't
It
it?
hits it twice as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's some supernatural shit.
this
going
is
on
it. And the other thing I didn't mention is I don't know how decomposition works, but I mean, if you've been under there for 10 years, how is he fucking covered in maggots and all those shit in his grave?
You shouldn't have eyes.
Well, yeah,
definitely
but then
not.
you got the supernatural again. He gets in the grave then to go and pull this thing out, and Jason jumps up and grabs him. His mate's like, you fucking would. His mate is like fucking terrified.
The maggots, you see him dropping on the floor.
He's chucking petrol over Jason as Jason's walking towards him, and he starts trying to light the matches, and it starts pissing down with rain. Now, does the rain suddenly start, or is this part of like Jason's like supernatural shit?
Oh, yeah.
Also, is the reason that his grave is decomposing is because he's under it? Is it all part of like his just evil entity that is just affecting the atmosphere around him?
Isn't he a deadite?
Well, you see that in Friday the 13th Part 9, that in Jason's house, the Necronomicon is in there. So it's hinted at that this is why he's like fucking so zombie.
Yeah, I've always thought there's some like evil force which is helping resurrect him.
Although in Part 10 they are insinuating that he's got like a healing factor, aren't they?
I guess the want to make money out of it and the lengths they had to go to keep producing stuff took it ultimately down the shit rabbit hole. It went from being a serious triad film,
But
and then people just exploited it.
After he got turned into a robot in space, they really couldn't do any more with that. I mean, where'd you go from that?
Yeah.
So they did a reboot, or like a soft reboot, which is like set in between 3 and 4 or something. It's like, this is where it would be in the series if the series was set now. And that's pretty good.
When was that?
2005 or something like that. But that was the last one I did because there was a writing dispute. So Sean Cunningham had the idea of a film called Friday the 13th, didn't know what it was about, just put an advert in the newspaper saying most terrifying movie ever, and then he hired a scriptwriter to write the story for him, and then the scriptwriter after 2008 started disputing, saying, well, I own Jason. He was like, well, no, I just hired you to write the story. And so that dispute has been going on now for like fucking 15 years, and they finally settled it. So there's supposed to be a new one or a new series in the works or something now.
I would find a way to throw him back in time and do Jason's versus dinosaurs.
Jason versus... No, I'm not having that.
Imagine him taking on a raptor.
I suppose.
I don't think he'd last too long.
I suppose, like, as soon as you get into space or time travel, that's it then.
That's
isn't
it. But the thing is,
That's-
I mean, like, Jason is rock because he's fighting like kids and hillbillies and stuff. If you put Jason like against the Avengers or something, it wouldn't take very long to take him out.
Is it Friday the 13th Part 8 when he's like, it starts with the SWAT team and the police blow
9.
him up? Is that Part 9? Is it?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And
There's some
putting-
good, interesting
yeah.
bits in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, gets resurrected. Tommy Jarvis's mate runs up with a shovel and hits him across the back of the head. Jason turns around, punches his heart out through his back.
Yeah.
And then Tommy does a runner, gets in his car and fucks off. Jason picks the mask up and he's like, dun 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 dun, dun. And he's fucking rock. He's so fucking cool in this.
Holding
one.
his spike.
Holding his spike. I mean, Kane Hodder is my favourite Jason, but other than that, this guy in this film, he plays a good Jason.
There's 2 different Jasons in this film.
There's the guy who did the paintball scene.
They were going to have him instead.
Yeah, and they didn't like Medallions.
And he's a bit like chubbier. If you look at him, he's a bit stockier, and his name on set was Bitch Tits Jason.
Bob had bitch tits.
That's what they used to call him.
Christ.
That's what the camera crew like, get Bitch Tits Jason out. And then when the producers saw the dailies, they were like, this guy looks like shit, you got to get somebody else.
He's alright.
You're too old, fat man. Your tits are too big.
I like a chubbier Jason, though. I like Jason when he's a bit
Cuddly.
bulkier, like
Cuddly.
Johnny.
Jolly Jason.
Bubbly.
Tons of fun.
Jason.
Sounds like a range of Barbie figures. I got bubbly Jason.
You want someone like The Undertaker or something, don't you? Someone like of his, or Kane.
Someone,
like,
yeah, someone
yeah, it's
big.
like, yeah.
It cuts to this couple then who are driving through the woods and they're lost, and it's the guy from Ghost.
Yes,
It's his first film.
He's got a great slimy face.
He's a
isn't
twat.
he?
He has.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? He's like, you wouldn't leave him alone with your missus, would you, for any period of time? Like,
No, I think that's part of the concept that made Ghost work so well. Is that everybody wanted to see him dead, the slimy fucker, and he's like, he does that well.
So they're driving down here and they see Jason, and the woman in the car is actually the director's wife as well.
Cheating bitch.
Cheating bitch.
you started filming.
Oh shit, my husband's there. They have like a back and forth. Jason's blocking the road.
She's real calm during this. She's
Yeah,
like, oh,
she's-
it's a guy
yeah.
there.
Jason's burst their tyre, and the bloke's like, got this world's tiniest gun
I've got a sweet piece myself.
in his fucking glove box.
But he's like fucking thinks he's really hard with it. He's like, don't worry about it. But I must just say, this whole scene is done really well. When she reverses, you're like, that's a fucking country lane, and you've got that way or that way, and that way, you're reversing down a mud track. It made me fucking nervous. I was like, oh my god.
What, this time or when you were little?
No, this time because it was such a good set.
What would you do in that situation? Would you
I would have driven into him.
driven at the madman though?
Yeah. Because I mean, you don't know he's the undead, do you?
I just see it ending badly driving at him. He's going to jump on that fucking bonnet, and
He's doing something.
I prefer that reversing down a mud track covered in wet leaves. Like, fuck that.
Anyway, bloke gets out the car, shoots Jason. Jason impales him and fucking launches him. Fucking 20 foot into the air.
Is
or
that in
something.
his gut or his neck?
I think it's in his gut, and he just sends him fucking flying.
It's realistic. So I was like, oh, I was like,
Yeah.
better not being in his
Cool stunt.
nuts.
It's a good stunt.
So then, woman screams. Jason jams a spear through the window and smashes the window. And there was almost an accident here because it went through a window and it went at an angle and it just fucking skimmed her. But
Fuck.
it was supposed to go through where she was. But
They used a real spike.
You real spike,
Fucking hell.
and the window deflected it. So if you watch it, it's like, and it just.
So
missed.
is that take an actual near miss?
That's the take that nearly killed her. Yeah.
Fuck.
know.
Yes.
No wonder it looks so good.
Yeah, and it was actually her. It wasn't like a stunt person or something. So yeah, she falls up the car and she's like crawling away, and Jason's disappeared. And then he appears above her, and she's like, ah! And the spike goes through her head under the water.
Yeah.
And she almost nearly drowned there because she had like a breathing apparatus, and it came loose, and it was just like a load of mud and water went down. She was breathing in under the water, but they didn't know she wasn't okay.
You're gonna be okay.
I'd have quit.
That was her last scene.
She was the wife of the director.
Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to kill her.
So Tommy goes to the police station and is like, my fucking friend Horace died. Blah, 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 blah. The cop's got a fucking great tash.
Yeah.
And the cop obviously doesn't believe him. And the deputy comes in carrying some coffee. He looks like fucking Sylvie from Sopranos. Tommy's like trying to have himself a shotgun. He's like, we're going to stop him! And then they chuck him in the cell. I crowdfunded another film for this, Never Hike Alone.
Yeah.
And Never Hike in the Snow. And the Never Hike in the Snow, they actually got the deputy and they got the bloke who played Tommy Jarvis in it.
So these are films set within the same universe.
They're set like now.
And is Jason in it? Or?
Oh yeah. And they're pretty brutal. They're pretty good quality. They're actually really good. But I think like the second one, the Never Hike in the Snow, came out during lockdown or something, and so it's like 20 minutes long.
I taped 20-minute workout on my machine and played it back at high speed, so it only took 10 minutes. I got a great workout.
And it's like, oh, if this was a full film, it would have been fucking brilliant. The first one was good. It's like 45 minutes long. But yeah, they crowdfunded it all, and it's really good. But
That's cool.
yeah, wish it was longer.
On a less serious note, in the police station, when the deputy comes in, he's carrying like some food or something, and Tommy Jarvis like knocks into him and knocks it all over. What does the copper with the tash say then?
Something to do with screwing the pooch.
That's what's known in the books as screwing the pooch. Iron this punk.
Yeah,
Screwing
yeah,
the
I think
pooch.
it's like, but I don't know what he says before that. I think it's like for saying that's for dropping the food and screwing the pooch.
That's what's known in the books as screwing the pooch.
It might be that,
And I
yeah.
was like, what the f-? Okay.
Do you ever watch them with the subtitles on? It's always worth to recommend it.
I
I didn't think
if
you
I
could read.
I can't that well.
So anyway, the sheriff's daughter comes in and she's hungry for dick. She's after some potential serial killer dick.
I
Serious
think
rat.
she's got issues with her dad being the chief of police, and she wants to like rebel. I think
She's going to fucking flirt with the convicts.
And
Yeah,
also,
she's
and
a bit out
also,
of order sometimes. Isn't
yeah,
she?
is.
she's a twat. The guy who comes in with her as well, that lad.
I've never seen so many holes in a pair of trousers.
a typical 80s shit teen like.
He is. I didn't mind the bit when he's talking to the kids. He's like, yes, so you gotta get this
Yeah.
thing there. He's doing like a Stallone thing, isn't he? The whole way
Yeah.
through. It's very weird.
So then we cut to the caretaker. And the caretaker
It's fucking brilliant.
is fucking talking to the camera all the way through.
Yeah.
So Tommy Jarvis's mate has fallen in the grave and his foot is still sticking out. So the caretaker thinks that they've been fucking about with
Yeah,
Jason's
yeah,
body
yeah,
and he's still
yeah.
in the grave.
I'm not going to touch the slimy sucker.
As he buries him, he's like, some folks got a strange idea of entertainment.
Some folks have a strange idea of entertainment.
direct to the camera.
The director did say with this one he wanted to go a little bit more tongue-in-cheek and push it a bit more away from like being too gritty or whatever to actually like, you know, this is a bit self-aware. And the guy that wrote Scream says that this is one of his biggest influences.
Yeah.
He said the reason is because this kind of knew it was a cheesy slasher and was like playing up to it.
Yeah, inspired him to write Scream.
Yeah, so all the like tropes of like, oh, you can't have sex, you can't go and do this. This was one of the big influences.
Yeah. So then we cut to this group of fucking paintballers. This is pretty whimsical, this bit. It's fucking... I think they could have cut this bit out.
The one guy with the glasses was hopping around.
If somebody tells me that character is not based on fucking Charles Hawtrey, the "Oh hello" guy from Carry On.
Oh hello.
I don't know if you guys know Carry On as well as I do, but he's
the little guy.
It's the fucking spindly one, but it's his mannerisms, it's his voice, it's his fucking fear. Like, you know,
maybe he just looked like him.
Maybe, but it's very fucking like him. I wonder if somebody over there might have seen it and been like, look at this guy, we want you to be like this guy. Or
you never see Carry On films anymore, do you? They used to be on telly all the time.
So,
I bet
like, sexist, racist,
It's
misogynist.
a minefield.
It's very fucking well.
On the buses is still on Sky.
On the buses is terrible. That guy in it.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Conductor.
But anyway, we have this farcical scene. It's like a little weird set piece, isn't it? Just to up the body count. There's these two guys arguing about giving up the paintball, and then some woman shoots them. It's like, I thought Bert got you. And it's like, and they're embarrassed because the woman shot them. And then it cuts to fucking Bert. And he's got a fucking machete. He's like, dumb broad!
Dumb broad! She tricked me!
Stay in the kitchen.
That's fucking well played.
That bloke's a real twat.
Yeah.
Fucking, why is he playing paintball? He's covered in fucking knives and he's got a machete.
Yeah, why has he got a
like,
massive
It was
machete?
like some corporate getaway.
He's tall,
wasn't
though,
it?
isn't he?
He's Tackleberry, isn't he?
Yeah. So anyway, Jason grabs him by the arm and fucking rips his arm off and launches him into this tree and like splatters his head.
You would seriously have to fucking launch someone to rip their fucking arm off like that.
Well, yeah. But Jason is like, this is the rockest he's been so far, isn't it? So Jason's like armed now. So these.
That's a little bit cheesy when he
hits
his arm off
smiley face.
Because if you slow it down, that mark isn't there when he hits the thing. And I thought it was a bit of wood where somebody had carved out a smiley.
Yeah, wasn't it?
No, it's not there on the if you stop it in the right place, it's not there before he hits.
Oh, what they're trying to say?
His face.
No, I don't think they're trying to say that at all. I mean, you might not see it, but I've never noticed it wasn't there. I think they're trying to say it was always there.
That's ridiculous bit of this film.
Wow, that's what.
Well, actually,
You've seen his face carved that smiley face.
there is a part later on in the RV, isn't there? Which is like,
It's a bit of a theme, isn't it?
But that had to have been there. That had to have been there already, surely.
Yeah. Because
Well,
your
it's
face
not,
wouldn't make that.
They might want it to be implied, but
I don't think they're
actual
implying
footage
that.
shows you it isn't there.
They're not implying that.
Well, it's not there before his face hits.
I think that's just a continuity error that no one else other than you has noticed.
Although Forrest Gump did it.
Have a nice day.
That's what I mean. But Forrest Gump was
Seriously.
more realistic than
Yeah, we know, that's right, yeah.
Anyway, so then the three are the paintballers, and Jason, this bit I'm not having either. Jason cuts all three of their heads off in one swipe.
They're not even in a row. The ones they're staggered.
I mean, you'd have to be strong to rip a guy's arm off, but to cut three people's heads off in
He's
one
doing
go.
He is definitely doing it though.
I reckon if he'd have swung that hard, he could have cut a fucking tree down.
He could like rip people in half and shit. I mean,
That blade would need to be fucking sharp as fuck.
Yeah,
to do that. I mean,
It did look the part though.
Yeah.
It did.
I still think he could take a raptor.
Well, if he's that strong, he could throw it into the sun. That's how strong he is.
He could go a few rounds with the Hulk for sure.
No.
This bit's like Police Academy or something, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So anyway, this guy with the glasses like sees their heads cut off, and he's like, "Oh no!"
Oh no, that's good. They all dropped to the floor.
They all dropped to the
and he's
floor.
right behind them.
Yeah, there was some bits they cut out there where you saw the heads coming off because this is the film with the least gore in, isn't it? They wanted to make it a bit more.
They thought it might end up PG-13
Family
this one. They were a bit
friendly,
worried about it and had to reshoot some stuff.
It's not really very graphic violent.
It's not too graphic, is it? Not like the rest of them where you've seen blades.
Yeah, a lot of them cut away a lot
Yeah.
of the time, don't they? Before a knife will go in or whatever.
So yeah, they've cut back to Tommy, and the sheriff's like taking him out of town. We're like, we're going to get you fucking out of here because you're fucking mad. And Tommy does a fucking runner, drives back, and is like, I'm going to prove to you that Jason's not in his grave. And then the caretaker's like, he's worried that they're going to blame him for not. I don't know. So he pretends that it hasn't been dug up.
His thing's real funny. That's what makes me laugh about him. Is that when Tommy comes over, when he gets there, the caretaker's filled it in. He's like, "Did you fill it in?" And rather than be like, What are you on about? The caretaker goes on the defensive. He's like, what?
What? What are you talking about?
He's like,
The local drunk, isn't he? So then it kind of follows him home then. He's drinking straight out of a bottle of whiskey on the way home.
Yeah.
Kathleen, you led me astray.
You're gonna be the death of me.
So then he launches this bottle, but he can't hit a drop. And he turns around and Jason's caught it in midair. And then he breaks it and he fucking stabs him with it.
Yeah.
So it was the death of him.
It was.
Did you get it, Alan?
I did. I did.
Because these are the bits they reshot, these deaths.
Okay.
Because they wanted a higher body count. They cut to this couple having a picnic. These are the two flimsiest characters in any film, I think. He's trying to bang this girl and she's like, oh no. He's like, oh, go on then. But then he hears like a noise of the guy screaming or something. Goes to see. And Jason's just fucking hacking this guy up. It's like, this guy's already dead. And Jason's like,
yeah, that's.
Apollo's like, fuck! So he gets back on the bike and then Jason skewers them both at the same time. There's like some shit blood that comes out of the girl's mouth. Like, ugh.
That whole sequence was terrible.
It was tacked on.
It was
wasn't
so, yeah. I mean, like, because you're introduced to those two people who were like just making out in the middle of the woods. You're introduced to them like a minute before, and then they're just fucking dead. How many people are going out to those woods just to hang around? Like, so they're just hanging around.
They might
out
just
there.
be those three.
They're like, what the fuck?
I did like how they broke it up in the vehicle though, because I was expecting him to run and get into a car and be like, whatever, he gets on some fucking 50cc electric. He's like, he doesn't even get it started. Fucking both done with a fucking machete.
We cut to the RV then. Is it court? So they're having some fucking PG-13 sex, like fully clothed.
She's dancing on him.
She's dancing. He goes, how much longer? It's like when the song's finished, she's like, oh!
It's just like 10 more minutes. She might as well have fucking stilettos on and just be dancing on the dance floor. You just lay there.
I mean, if you're going to blow your beans, it'd be like, just 10 more minutes. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to carry on doing
I
this.
reckon he could have gone to sleep with that performance.
But anyway, so the music stops, all the electric cuts out.
As the lights go out, as she gets off him, she insinuates he's blown his beans.
Yes.
Bert, you didn't already.
Oh, come on, wasn't that the end of the song?
Fair play to him to being able to blow his beans on musical command. You know what I mean?
Like, just as the light goes out.
Yeah. When this song finishes, bang!
Unless it was just happening and he used that as an excuse.
Yeah, no, that's what happened. That's what it was. He did it, and then she was like, "Oh, not already." He's like, "Wasn't that the end of the song?" Of course, it wasn't.
It was her getting off him. It's always her fault.
Fucking hell.
Don't fucking move! Don't fucking move! Oh fuck! Don't fucking move! Fucking your fault!
And then he goes outside and this cable's all frayed. I don't know how fucking Jason ripped that cable out. I mean, that cable looks like a dog's been on the end of it or something. I mean, you would have thought he'd have cut it,
just
ripped it out.
He would be strong enough. There'll be a point on the end of it, and he
can rip a man in half.
Yeah, I don't think a fucking electrical socket for a RV is going to bother him too much.
So they see this and they get back in the car. They're like, "Fuck, we're gonna get the fuck out of there. This is my stepdad's fucking vehicle."
Horse.
Who's horse?
My freaking stepfather, an asshole resident.
Horse. That's like, why did they call a stepdad horse?
Yeah, I mean, I was imagining some sort of hairy biker, but when you look at the fucking RV, there's all like fucking picture frames and wallpaper up and stuff.
Fucking cool RV though.
It would be cool, yeah.
That again, very tense moment when he has to do a 3-point turn.
So anyway, they start driving. Court goes fucking mad. He's like, "Whoa!" He's like driving like a fucking madman. Turns the music up full blast. Like, "I'm having a real good time here." He's
He's fucking narrating to himself. He's telling
Weird.
himself, "This is great."
This is great. I remember you said it's a good time.
Oh, it's just fucking fun. So this woman's like falling about, potentially being injured back there.
It looks like she came a couple of inches to hitting her head on that second go.
Yeah. So Jason jumps out. He's been hiding in the fucking toilet. Grabs her, pulls her in there, and squishes her head through the fucking metal wall.
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal.
In a face shape. I would have liked to have seen some blood somewhere,
Like
whether-
a little crack or
a little
something.
hole or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's
Like
like
see
one
it from the other side.
The other side.
Like when he leaves the fucking bathroom.
Yeah,
you know
just
what I
like
mean?
a bloody
See
mess.
I thought it was going to come through behind him.
So he hasn't noticed any of this, and he's like still fucking going tits to Teenage Frankenstein by Alice Cooper. Teenage Frankenstein!
That was great, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's quite a few of the tunes in the soundtrack that Alice Cooper.
It was at that bit that I was kind of like, yeah, no, if you go...
It's party horror.
Yeah, it's just that's what you want, isn't it, really? Yeah, it was good.
So Jason got this fucking huge like Rambo knife and jams it in his head.
When he stabs that knife in his head, I always imagine it was quite good because it goes, Frankenstein. And I always imagined that to be because he was stabbed in the brain and that's the last thing he heard, and it was like, but I don't know if it's
like doing a laughing gas or something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, or I don't know if it is just the way the song ends, and it was like, yeah, song ends and so does he.
And then this bit's fucking cool. Like the truck hits like this ridge, goes flying up in the air and skids along on its side.
He was in it. The stuntman wasn't he? He almost fucking died.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Why the fuck would you be? Oh, man.
That was the thing. I think when I was reading a lot of the
dying.
facts, they said a lot of people were like, he didn't need to be in there. He was just in there. Like, so.
Something else that happened with this is the producer, who they all hated. He'd got this truck for the prop of the truck crashing, but he'd got this air conditioning unit on the roof of it, which he's like, I'm fucking having that for my RV, so take that off. And the crew were like, fucking twat. And they'd left it on.
Oh, fucking hell.
And when you see the truck crash on its side, you see this aircon unit come off and like spin across the camera like it explode. But they were all like, yeah, fuck you.
That's quite funny.
And then this is a fucking cool shot.
It's
The
an
truck's
iconic
on its
shot,
side,
isn't it?
on fire, and Jason punches the fucking door out. He stood on the fucking side of this truck on fire. It's fucking cool. It's
Just
real fucking
back
cool.
of it is
By
just
some
good.
like fire and shit, and
So he goes to like an occult bookstore here. He's trying to find a load of fucking facts about how he's going to beat Jason.
me.
The plan he comes up with is pretty shit.
Fuck. He didn't need those books.
No, he wasn't in that book.
He did not need to get those books.
I think he found nothing in those books.
Yeah.
I think I have to turn a rock right.
I think in the books you had to put him to rest where he originally died. So that was the message he was getting.
I feel
from the
that
book.
rock and chain combo would have worked in any lake.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's got little other option really, is short of blowing him up, has he?
Yeah.
It's like you've got to restrain him or fucking blow him to pieces, and he's already tried stabbing him, and he's fucking undead.
So the police now are starting to find all these bodies chopped up in the woods, and then you cut to the camp now, which is the first like Friday the 13th movie to have like children in it, isn't it?
A summer camp.
Yeah.
Is that a mad concept in America? That, during summer holidays,
You send your kids to
Just get rid of your kids.
Yeah, but it's weird because, like, now having kids, it's like in the summer, it's just like, okay, yeah, the kids ain't got school for 6 weeks. Like, you've still got to work, but you got to work out what you do.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
I would love to be able to adopt that over here, but I don't think I would trust it, in all honesty, the way
No,
that it
Well,
is.
look what happened to Jason.
I wouldn't send my
Do you know what
kids
I
to a summer camp.
No. But like, it's kind of like a scout camp, but it would be nice to have that kind of world where you feel like you could just send away a group of people who wanted to go away. And
Well, they do it for the whole summer, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I've sent
Bill
Bill away for like a few days to camp.
Yeah, that's
But
all
like,
right.
yeah, you want like 6 weeks.
It's like 6 weeks
camp.
in America, but I think it'd be quite good fun if you were a kid. Do you know what I mean? To let, as long as you weren't getting horrendously hazed or bullied or whatever. But the jocks there, like.
Well, there is the one jock there, isn't there, whose voice is on the brink of breaking.
It was like, we're gonna be dead meat.
I think we're dead meat.
Real dead meat.
He's a fucking twat.
He is. In the beginning, so what did you want to be when you grew up?
So Tommy's like ringing the police station, and he gets through to Megan. She's like, "Oh, I'll come and meet you." So what the fuck is she thinking? This bloke who is like reportedly a killer. So then her dad's like, "I guess your old friend Tom is a murderer after all. He really wants us to believe he's Jason." And she still goes and meets him.
Geez, she got some issues, she has, man.
She has. So that Megan picks Tommy up from the bookstore, and then they're driving along, and then there's a fucking roadblock, so he ducks down, and they're driving around. It's like he's got his head in her crotch. It's like, it's gonna be a hairy turn.
It's gonna be a hairy turn. Hang on.
It's like, what the fuck? It's like some fucking.
That was a bit
A
odd.
close up on a.
I mean, she's got fucking trousers on as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even much of a joke.
She was like egging him on, like when his head was like banging into it. She said something, didn't she? Like, oh, that's what I'm after, or something. It was a bit,
yeah.
Odd.
So then she fucking pulls up, and her dad's there with a shotgun, and then they get arrested. So Jason goes to this camp, and this girl's like tipping water out the window, and Jason fucking pulls her through the window and twists her head off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he saves it for later and puts it in his police car.
I quite like to see the bits of Jason you don't see, like when he's like creeping around.
When he's nailing someone's body to the fucking tree or
I was
whatever.
going to say, it's like fucking those 3 paintballers he kills. He jumps out of a tree.
Yeah.
It's like, do you reckon he has a little giggle behind the mask, like, or something?
He had to have climbed that tree.
So the last counsellor who's still alive now is like, she's scared, she's on her own. The door swings open, scares her, and then Jason comes in, slams the door, smashes her through the window, and then there's more blood in that room, and it's got to be a rival for Nightmare on Elm Street 1 or like fucking Evil Dead.
Yeah,
there's blood fucking everywhere. I mean, I don't know, he must have been fucking like swinging her
He
around.
does all types of mad shit.
He does.
He's fucking mad, Jason.
Yeah.
Like, why is he doing all this, man? He's just like a never-ending rampage of murder.
He's mad pissed off. So the police go to the camp, and Jason is reaching for this little girl. And then he hears like the police door shut, and then he walks outside. And it's some quite cool cop there, so he fucking launches that throwing knife and hits someone in the head, knocks him onto a boat. And then he grabs one's head and he squishes it so hard it pops. But you see the fucking cop goes on the floor. He's got blood and snot all over his face.
Is that what that green stuff was?
Well, that's what I assume it's got to be.
This is Moustache Cop, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mustache cop.
Mustache cop. And then the chief turns up with his shotgun and starts fucking putting rounds into Jason. He shoots him like 7 times and then he fucking shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a mashup on YouTube that someone's done of Ash versus Jason?
Oh, right.
It's fucking cool. I might try and see if I can get away with
cool.
putting a clip of this up now. Yeah, it's fucking cool. So yeah, the policeman's shooting Jason, and then he does like a little bit of a runner when he runs out of bullets. So then you cut to the police station, and Tommy Jarvis and this girl have got like a plan. He's like, I know, I'm going to come over. You tell me my picture's shit. I'm going to come over and fucking get off with you.
That's real weird. That
And then we're going to steal this guy's gun.
Yeah,
And then we'll escape. So
it was just a real weird kiss. It was really odd. And
he's like...
it's fucked up.
She was never going to kill that cop as well, was she?
No, she's probably known him all her life.
Yeah,
or
it's just
something.
not going to happen. And also the size of his laser sight.
I mean, it was unnecessary.
Wherever the red dot goes, you bang.
It's like, it's really big. It's like bigger than the
It's
gun.
bigger than the gun.
There's
There's a lot
like a
of shit
scope
guns
for
in
a
this
fucking
film.
sniper
wasn't there?
rifle or something, wasn't it? It's really weird.
I do quite like that guy's gun from earlier, the little chody.
Oh yeah, that was time.
The world's smallest gun.
The little chody one.
Those little 80s revolvers are great, innit? If you're gonna get
Snub nose. Like.
say what you imagine your fucking gun your grandma would have, like.
So yeah, so these two escape the jail, and then they drive to Crystal Lake or Forest Green.
Forest Green.
Get it right.
And then she's like shouting for her dad. The chief sees Jason like fucking divert, and he's like going to go and save his daughter. So he jumps on Jason's back.
her!
Jumps on Jason's back, knocks him on the floor, and then starts fucking smashing his head with this rock. And
Yeah.
then Jason bends him in half.
He had a good few like hits to the end,
yeah,
didn't he?
I mean, he did better than most.
Yeah.
He did. He put up a fair fight. He can hold his head high, but yeah, Jason did fucking fold him.
He can hold his head up his ass.
That's probably the best death in the film.
Yeah.
That is
probably.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like-
He's
I like-
so shit because I don't think you die straight away.
No, you feel a lot of break before you went.
You'd want
wouldn't
to. You'd be like,
I reckon you've got like,
You're
at least 20
ready by
minutes
your
left.
feet.
Oh no.
So yeah, so the girl's gone and checked the kids are okay, and then fucking Jason doesn't use the door now. He just bursts through the wall. It's like a log cabin. It's log. You know, it's wood.
It's so hard.
He just walks through this wall, and then he grabs the woman and he's squeezing her head, and her head's like. And then Tommy, meanwhile, has got in this boat. And he's got a load of chain. How the fuck did he get that rock?
This is the worst plan.
He's
This
got this big boulder.
That's it. Come on, maggot head. Come on.
Come on, pussy! He's giving him a load of shit from the shore, like.
Which is clearly. I mean, he's not a pussy. That's one thing that he isn't.
That's what Jason's lectured to this woman. He's like, I'm not having that.
Also, that big rock would sink the boat.
Well,
He wouldn't be able to lift it into the
No.
boat, and it'd be too heavy for the boat.
I feel like it'd have been easier to fucking get Jason wrapped in chains on land. Would be far easier than trying to do it.
I reckon Jason
a bit
could
of a lake.
Jason could burst out of the chains.
Well, he doesn't.
I mean, is this water the holy ground that he got
I
from his
think
book?
it's magical.
So Jason goes strolling into the water, and this is the thing, right? I think his plan isn't that bad, but it is that bad when you factor in he's like 5 foot from the shore. I mean, if you're in the middle of the lake, right, that's okay. But he's not that far, is he? He's not so far that Jason's walked up to him, like almost up to the boat, and then sunk.
I mean, they obviously have their brawl.
They have a tussle, don't they?
But when he does eventually get the chains on him,
Yeah.
he's literally by the actual fucking
Is that how
the
strong he is?
surface of the water.
That's how strong he is. He's pushed
He's
the water
not
at such
even-
velocity that
He's not
it's
even
shot him out of the water.
He's not even that deep. You
it's
could
not.
literally go out and it'd be like, "It's Jason." Like, it'd be like,
And
at
on a
least
low
take
tide
him out
line.
somewhere. Yeah, he's just going to be fucking stuck to a rock.
He's like 5 foot down.
Yeah, because he can grab their legs and shit.
It would be like if you didn't have a rainy season or whatever, you would just see him. He'd just be stood there,
His shoulders.
he'd be off the fuck, man.
Someone sort it out.
So anyway, Jason pulls Tommy down with him, and Tom is drowned. So Megan goes swimming in to go and save Tommy, and Jason grabs her
Just
leg.
grabs her.
He's
She's
like
so
grabbing her
close
leg.
to him. Like,
And then she starts the fucking motor of this motorboat. Well, this is how fucking close Jason is to the floor, right? Because if that rock's on the floor and that chain's like 6 foot long, yeah, The motorboat is there. His head would be near the top of the water.
He'd be a nuisance to boats all
He
year
would.
round.
So she starts this motorboat and she like fucking plows it into his neck and the side of his face, and then he's like dead for the film. Then
He's deader.
Why didn't he pull himself down the chain, fucking grab the rock and walk out
off with the rock.
That's how strong he is. But I mean, if this water is like the consecrated holy ground where he died, it's like sapping his power. I mean, we don't know what was in that book. You might fucking poo-poo it earlier, but it obviously worked.
Yeah, I think also, imagine trying to brawl with some fucking big guy. Like, you're in a boat, he's outside the boat.
I bet you've done a fair bit of brawling with big guys, haven't you?
You're having a fight with this guy, and then you've got to try and wrap a fucking chain round him while you're fighting. It would be so hard to do, I think.
He's on fire as well.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. When he tips the fucking petrol outside the boat, it's like that would just set fire to your boat as well.
It's a
Do you know what
perfect
I mean?
circle.
Yeah, but would that work? Does it stay if you did that
I
on
didn't
water
notice that,
then
to
with
be honest.
petrol? Does it stay in one?
I suppose if it's a lake, then it's not like tidal water, is it? It's just sort of.
It's
It
irresponsible.
wouldn't be moving. It would be quite still.
It would, yeah.
He was trying to draw him out, I think, so he could put this fucking chain around him. So yeah, and then they all get away okay, and then it cuts to Jason at the end, and he's like, his eyes open. He's not dead, but he's
See you in
like.
summer.
My sister bought me a jar with that figure hung in it, full of water.
Oh, that's
I've
cool.
got that in my office.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I said if you had an aquarium, that'd be a fucking cool thing to
Yeah.
have in your like fish tank or whatever.
Was someone in America had got like a mannequin of Jason, and they put him in some lake chained up, and it was like scaring the shit out of people.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I read about that. It was some scuba diver. It was a place where they did like diving or snorkeling in this lake or whatever, and this fucking guy went and put it in there just to freak people out when they were.
Yeah.
I think it's still there. I think they left it there though because people were like, "Oh, that's fucking cool."
Fuck.
So that's-
Somebody getting away with a perfect crime.
Yeah, it's a real dead body. That's a fucking good idea.
And that's the end of the film. And then you finish with Alice Cooper's Man Behind the Mask. Man behind the mask. So yeah, that's the end.
So, is he dead?
Well, he is until part 7, isn't he? Well, part 7, so there is some girl with psychic powers who is having an argument with her dad on the shore of Crystal Lake, and his dad was like beating him up and all kinds of shit. So she's like, "Go away, Dad, go away!" And
I wish you were dead!
starts some like earthquake, which pulls the dad down. And then when she's a bit older, she comes back to the lake and is trying to resurrect the dad, but then she resurrects Jason.
Oh.
But then the end of the film, her dad fucking comes back and pulls Jason back into the lake.
Oh my
I think
God.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, that's where we are with that one. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you want to dispose of his body pretty sharpish as well, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? You just wouldn't keep it there.
No. Set fire to him, I would.
volcano,
Yeah.
Volcano.
chuck it in a volcano,
No, fucking.
He's always comes back.
acid
then, Jason,
acid
doesn't
bath.
I would leave him in the fucking water where he's already fucking settled and hook a fucking line on him, drag him out to sea and drop him over a fucking cliff that the pressure gets so hard it will blow his little head up.
His little head.
Mask like falls to the floor.
Oh, it would, wouldn't
he?
it?
Yeah. He's always coming
And then
back.
it'd be
Yeah.
They fucking blow him up. and
They
he
blow
comes
up
back.
at the beginning of part 9, don't they?
Yeah, and he comes back from that.
But he
doesn't
gets fucking literally dissolved in acid at the end of part 8, doesn't he? And instead of dissolving, he turns into a little boy and then vanishes. So what the fuck was happening there? Oh, it took 19.4 million at the box office.
Oh yeah, it
was considered a flop because it did a fucking Last Jedi Part 5 and everyone was like, I'm not watching another one of these fucking films after that shit. And then when Part 6 came out, even though it was a much better film, it was poorly received.
And it was the first Friday the 13th that didn't go to number 1 at the box office when it came out.
The first one with no nudity.
Yes, maybe that's connected.
Maybe.
If somebody said, what's a classic 80s slasher, this would be a real good example to show them, wouldn't it? Because it does tick all the boxes. I think the only box it doesn't tick is the tits.
Well,
it would have made it more of an 80s slasher, you know.
Tits and a bit more graphic death, but I mean, it is like Friday the 13th light, this one, isn't it? It's like fun.
It's a good entry level,
gore-free,
slasher of that ilk, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Lee, do you want to go first? Because as soon as you picked it.
As a Halloween film, you know, I think I watched it on Halloween and it scared me when I was little. If you were watching it at a Halloween party, this would be fucking going off, I think. So for a Halloween film, I'm going to give it a 8. And then as a film, sometimes it is hard to, if you've seen some of these stuff for the first time, it's like, that's a bit wank. but it's hard to sort of disassociate yourself with the feelings you had for it, and I'm obviously a big Jason fan. I think I'm going to give it a 7.
Ooh, honest.
I mean, I am a big fan of Jason, but the thing with Jason films is they're generally wank. Jason's fucking amazing. So you're just watching it to see what kind of shit Jason's going to get up to. As films go, it's not amazing. Jason is fucking cool in it, and it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, Halloween. It's not that serious horror, is it? It's not. It is something you can have on. So 6.5 for Halloween. Sorry. As a film as well, like I'm gonna have to go like 6 again. They are what they are, aren't they?
They're not great.
They're the classic slasher film, and you can just like watch them on repeat. You're only there to see what sort of deaths he can fucking give out and all that sort of stuff.
What's he gonna do now?
Yeah,
so when he sticks a party popper in someone's eye.
I mean, that's what you watch them for, isn't it? You're not watching them for the story, really. It's like porn. So yeah, 6. Yeah.
I don't know actually what I can say after that. I remember being more scared of it, and then I think this could easily be a Halloween film, but it chose not to be. But it's scary, so I think it's a better Halloween film than it was given credit for. So I'm giving it as an 8 as a Halloween film. And as a film, yeah, don't take it too seriously, and it's great, and it kind of gets a bit more farcical as the series goes on, and this is quite a feasible, like, you know.
It's this film's fault that Jason got so farcical later. This is like the tipping point.
Yeah,
but I mean,
Roger Moore.
That's a lot of weight on this film's shoulders. But anyway, as a film, I'm gonna give it a nostalgia point as well. I'm gonna give it 7.5.
Yeah, well, I think I did really enjoy it. I think as a movie, obviously it's massively flawed because it is what it is. There's not a huge amount of sort of depth to it. It is sort of a bit tongue-in-cheek, but there's a lot of cliches in it, but it is knowing. I think some of it is actually quite funny as well. So I think, but as a movie, I think I'd give it a 6. Like I said, it's not great. Special effects are great. The deaths aren't that great, but there's some good bits to it. But I think as a Halloween movie, I think it's fucking really good because it's got that supernatural element to it, this one. I think it does tick that Halloween box because, like, you know, at the beginning we were said with the graveyard and all that.
Well, something we didn't talk about, actually, speaking of supernatural bits, which is more emphasised in the next ones, does Jason teleport from now? Because there's like a lot
sprints like fuck when the camera's
there's a lot of fan theories that he can teleport, isn't there?
Yeah.
Especially in part 8 when he's like, oh, he's not there, and then he's there. He's like literally next to them.
There's some quite clear bits I think about that.
He does a lot of mad shit since he's become a ghost.
He's starting, isn't he? He's got his like fast walk going on in this. So I think he's
don't tell me he teleports. I want to think of him climbing up that tree.
No, I think he starts to teleport in this one.
Alright.
Yeah, I think he does have the ability to teleport. I would say that's canon. Sort of thing.
You can do that in the game. The game's fucking cool. You can choose where you're going to teleport to. Like,
that's was it go like a Deadeye? Oh, shh.
Yeah, you can choose it. It goes like super fast, and you.
Well, that's fucking even better, man. If that's fucking cool. Yeah, imagine him teleporting like that. Like, another thing that chased Ash in fucking Evil Dead. Yeah, so and I think at a Halloween party or something like that, this would be a great film. So if you're planning on watching anything for Halloween, chuck this film on. I think it's really, really enjoyable. So yeah, I'd go even higher. I'd say like 8.5 as a Halloween.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we would all say it's got its flaws, but as a Halloween film, if you want to watch something, you could do a lot worse.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, a solid 80s slasher.
Yeah.
Right, so that was our thoughts on Friday the 13th, part 6. So next week we're going to continue with our Halloween-themed extravaganza. So, Al, what are you going to go for?
So next week we will be watching something I've not seen for a very long time. Monster Squad.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. Monster
Can't
Squad.
wait. Can't wait.
Monster Squad. 1987, I believe.
Irrelevant.
Yes. Yes.
Right, so tune in next week for Monster Squad.
I'm scared.
Bye.
Bye.